most common seams you need to know and when it's best to use them. Today we're going to start with a plain closed seam. This one is incredibly easy to do. So first you're going to start with your 2 pieces of fabric. So I'm going to place my right sides together and sew with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. After you sew your straight line, I'm going over to my serger and I'm going to finish the edge. Finally, I can just grab my hot iron and press it down, and then I'm going to open it up and push that flap to one side and press it down again. I like to just flip it over and press it down from the outside, and this is going to give it a beautiful finishing look. Can you believe how easy that was? Also, this is typically found on pants on the outside, and that's what it looks like on the inside. We can compare it to the one I just did. It's the same thing. So now we're going to do a French seam. I hope you like my Parisian fabric. So you're going to start by placing the fabric together with the right sides facing outwards. And for this, you need a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So you're going to sew this at the right side, 1/4 inch away from the edge, and then trim off the excess material. And then you can just fold it over with the right sides facing together this time. And I'm going to sew the material at 1/4 inch. So we're done with sewing for this seam, and now I'm going to move on to my iron and press it down like this. This makes it look nice. And then I'm going to open it up and push the flap to one side and press it, and then again we just press it on the outside. This seam is really great for when you have sheer, thin fabrics like chiffon satins, and it gives a really elegant look because it doesn't have the serger. It's just very chic and clean. This one is quite rare. It's a plain open seam with stitched folded edges. For this one, we need 3/4 inch to 1 inch seam allowance. So you're going to sew your 2 pieces of material together with the right sides facing in. Then you're going to fold each edge individually and sew at 1/16 of an inch. Repeat this with the other edge. Now I like to press down the seam, open the flap and press down the flap, and as always, we press it on the outside. This is best for skirts and non-lined jackets. It has a very nice couture look. This one is awesome. It's a plain opened seam with serged ends. So first, I like to start with serging the edges on each piece of fabric. This is very similar to that one. The difference is that you finish the edges by serging them. And then we're going to put the fabric together, right sides facing together. And you need a 3/4 inch to 1 inch seam allowance. And then with my iron, I like to press down the seam, open the flap and press down the flap. And as always, we press it down on the outside. This is mostly good for skirts, dresses, and the back of pants. As you can see here, this is done in pants. It's a little hard to see because it's kind of black and it's serged black, but it's the exact same thing as we just did. Now we're moving on to the flat felled seam. You need a 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. So first sew your 2 pieces together, and you're going to cut one of the flaps, not both. I like to iron for best results. So first I press down the seam, and then I like to iron between each fold. So there are going to be 2 folds, right? And now I'm going to go back to my sewing machine and do a top stitch at 1/4 inch. And this is also optional, but you can do a second top stitch, and that makes it even more sturdy. This stitch is used mostly on jacket sleeves, pants, and men's shirts. This seam encases the raw edges and it's very sturdy and strong, and it's mostly used on thick fabric like denim or canvas. 5 easy seams that are very common in sewing. Of course, there are more, so if you like this, please let me know. I can show you more, and if you like this, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye!